Thank you. So my name's Louise Farrell. I'm from the City Projects team at Council. And we also have Julie G online, who's our Senior Project Landscape Architect. And we've got a short presentation today to give you for the Sir Joseph Banks Adventure Playground, which is a very exciting project that we've been working on. So just to give you a little bit of background in terms of the Sir Joseph Banks Park Playground, we applied for state government funding for this play space of $2.5 million through the Public Spaces Legacy Program. And the idea is that we'll design and implement a regional play space in the adventure play natural setting. It's anticipated that we'd be doing construction from next April, with the project being completed by the end of the year. So for those that you know, the area, we have Fremlin Street coming in, an existing car park, an existing playground, which has a barbecue area and kids bike track. And then the extension of the play space would be linking to that existing playground. So in April earlier this year, before we were in lockdown, we were able to have some face-to-face consultation in the park, and we undertook some workshops and have your say. And the things that the community and everyone came back to us with was the top 6 items were that they'd like to see play spaces that are adventurous and fun, a park celebrating nature, something for everybody, and elements of the history reflected in the Sir Joseph Banks Park, that the play space is accessible and inclusive for all, and that an overall improved amenity within the Sir Joseph Banks Park. So for those of you that may not be that familiar, the entry to the play space is the photo that you're seeing on the left of the screen, and there's a small existing play area for under 5s. We have an existing play equipment with a sand play section and some playground equipment, more climbing and swinging for the over 6s. And these play spaces will be maintained. It's more to enhance and improve. So you've got the barbecue shelter there on the left, and the footpath here will lead you into that new play space area. And we'd be installing some nature play and a flying fox in this sort of zone. But the main location of the new play space is on the grass hill here, which gives us a lot of ideas about how we can have, adventure climbing up the hill, and, children getting to the top with their flag and sort of taking over the space and, really being creative. So it's a very large, expansive space that we've got there to implement a new playground. So in terms of very high level planning, the pathway comes in and connects all the way around the water's edge. And you have the existing playground down in this right corner, which we would do some enhancements and improvements, and would maintain the existing bike track and existing barbecue shelter, which was proven to be very popular. Then we'd install some low-lying sort of nature play through this section, and a double flying fox, which children seem to find very, very exciting. And then you move through the space and we'd have a junior zone and a senior zone, as well as this very adventurous climbing up to the top of the hill to get to the lookout point, and a bit of a highest point of the park where they can see everybody coming. So in terms of some of the images that we've been looking at, we know shade is very important, picnic shelters and spaces for carers and parents to be a part of, natural landscaping with, timber sculptures and the use of sandstone, and then some nice adventurous climbing areas big slippery dips and slides, and climbing poles, talking poles. We've got down in the bottom corner here some sort of stepping stones in the natural environment for children to be able to try out and be adventurous on them. So just in a little bit more detail, as I said, the arrival point into the existing play space is along this footpath here. And we'd be trying to improve a lot of the existing equipment to have more an accessible element to them, as some of the spaces are difficult to access through mulch. We'd be trying to put in some connecting pathways and elements that are accessible for all children. This zone here is almost like the quiet zone, a space where children can explore and come up with their own creativity, some sculptures, some lawn mounds, and then the flying fox being on this section with some seating areas around for people to watch on, and also a shelter in this location with additional seats. As you move up into the junior play space, there'd be climbing and traversing nets, rollover bars for kids to practice their dips and somersaults and things like that, and then mounds to climb up, and a smaller slide section. And then as we move into this larger area here would be for the more senior equipment for children, so a much higher play tower that they can climb up, a much bigger, more adventurous slide, some horizontal poles to play on, and then this sort of rock escarpment that they can explore. The sort of pinnacle icon of the playground, I guess, is making it to the top, up to the lookout, and children could use this as a bit of an adventure and take the off track way up the hill, or they can follow the accessible path, allowing for all carers' mobilities to actually make their way up to this top lookout. And it allows children to branch off into these sections where there might be balance beams or some seating off to the side, different textures and different natural elements to really excite them and to allow that playful creativity to come out. And then, they make it up to the top and take over the lookout, and can look down to where their friends are making their way up as well. Now, we have very much tried to keep access paths in the area accessible. So this purpley pink line that you see across the area is where we're making accessible path connections throughout. And then there's some bright yellow stars around to show where there's accessible play elements. Now, there's accessible and non-accessible play elements, as it's important to challenge children of all abilities and for them to be able to get something from the playground. So we saw the need for a lot of differing pieces of equipment and differing levels for the children to climb through. Now, being on a hill, there is multiple levels for them to make their way through, and also this large custom-made piece, excuse me, which would have a climbing area and then a slide and lookout coming out of that space. So we've just put together some concept sketches to show you the sorts of things that we're trying to represent with the very natural elements. That was a very strong feedback from the community in April, and trying to put some elements of fun and adventure for children, and the climbing areas and the towers,